Yeah. Now, Richard, you've been in the UK for a while, and you're just newly returned to Canberra. Brexit finally happened, tell me, what you think of how this played out in the end.
Well, in many ways, Sharri, Brexit finally happened when Boris Johnson won that big majority. And I'm not just saying that because I'm incredibly sad that I didn't actually make Brexit Day, despite the fact I spent all that time in the UK. But it's the minute Boris Johnson won that solid majority in the House of Commons, obviously something that Theresa May never had, he just had the full freedom to make sure that this washed through exactly on his timeline. Now, obviously, we saw all those images of people cheering in Parliament Square and singing Land of Hope and Glory, the European Parliament singing Auld Lang Syne, saying how sad we are you're gone, apart from the French, who are so glad that the UK are out of the EU because they now have full dominance of it. But it's, the world didn't end. It turns out that when you vote for something and it's enacted, the world doesn't end. So there's still a long period of negotiations on trade to go. But Boris Johnson has told his ministers that the word Brexit is now dead. As far as he's concerned, Brexit is leaving the political union. As for leaving the economic union, which is actually more important, that's just a trade negotiation. That's just normal trade negotiations. I wonder how long you'll get away with that.
Richard, Michael, Richard is right that now the talk will turn to trade deals, and Australia as well will have to look at what trade deals we can do with the UK.
Indeed, and also the US, but I must say it's a great performance by Johnson. And I went to one of his leadership speeches. I was in England and in June near Cambridge. He was, when he ran for leadership against Jeremy Hunt, and all the Conservative Party members in a hall together, and I went along as a guest of someone and sat in the front row and listened to Johnson speak. He's a very charismatic speaker, very funny speaker, and his personality helped him during the election, the strength of his message on Brexit. But as you say, now going forward, it's a matter of battening down these trade deals. But he's made an incredible start, I must say, to not only the leadership but his prime ministership, having a running rail like Brexit, sticking to a single message, being able to deliver it. And of course, he was helped by having a wreck of an opponent in Jeremy Corbyn. And I suppose the final point I'd make is I'm sure that Donald Trump's hoping that Bernie Sanders wins over there in America, because he's the closest thing to an American version of Jeremy Corbyn that you've seen. And if Bernie Sanders wins the nomination, well, Trump will get re-elected.
Look, just very quickly, Kyla, before we have to go, the last word on this property developer ban on councillors being property developers that the Prime Minister's faction leader Alex Hawke knocked back at State Executive on Friday. What's your view on this?
I did enjoy Jason Flinsky's little what factionalism in the Liberal Party gag that he had going just before. But, I mean, it seems to me it's pretty clear factionalism, isn't it? I mean, as you say, Alex Hawke and the centre-right and, the people that Scott Morrison has, where the power base is, they were the ones who voted against it, not the moderates or the right of the party. It seems like a fairly straightforward thing. Labor did this also. Local council is, it's got a very bad reputation for being in bed with property developers, being too close to property developers. This seems like a pretty simple thing. Presumably the hitch is maybe they don't want to give their enemies on, in other factions
any more power in councils. Yeah. Kyla Lasuki and Richard Ferguson and Michael Kroger, thank you very much for joining me tonight.
Thanks, Sharri.